What is up, guys? It's Mitchell or Deity, and today we're going to go over one of the most common questions is, what should I be farming? What should I be doing? So once you get your account progressed, this is going to be, if you've gotten to the most current part of the guide, what should I be doing? So there's a couple things you need to go and look at. First off, what are you working on? What characters have you pulled? What do you want to build? All of that's a big factor. But the most important thing is check to see what's your charm count look like. So you'll go into enhancement ingredients and you'll look at your charms. So there's no point to farm, hunts, or any type of gear if you can't upgrade the gear. So charms are always first priority. And the way you farm charms is unrecorded history. So whenever you farm unrecorded history, you're going to be getting this charm dust, and you're going to be getting these charms here. Now, right side charms will be gotten, these accessory charms are going to be gotten from doing Labyrinth and trading in from Labyrinth and trading in weekly. The right side, these charms right here, the accessory charms, are one of the biggest gatekeepers outside of artifact charms in Epic 7. So whenever you're needing to get new gear, it's always the first thing is there's no point in farming gear unless you have the charm count. Now, you'll go and farm. The most common thing to farm is unrecorded history. Okay, unrecorded history stage 30 is the stage that I recommend to everybody just because of the speed that it farms. It's going to give you the most value for the speed. So unrecorded history is in here, and then you go to unrecorded history, adventure, and you'll just go to stage 30. So with farming this is going to be 80% of your farming in the game. There is another stage I'm going to talk about, though, in just a second. Okay, this is 80% of your farming in Epic 7. You go in and you set whatever characters that you want to do. Usually you'll have one character that will speed farm through it. Arbiter Villager is great. Free Spirit Area is the one I had you guys using going through the guide. But the biggest thing you want to make sure you're doing is going in, sort your characters by friendship, if I can figure it out. And then you want to be friendship tending your PvP characters or characters you want to put skill ups into. Whenever you friendship tend a character, you get 3 free Mologora or 3 free skill ups. If you've already plus 15 that character, then that means once you friendship tend them, you'll get 3 Mologora back. So it doesn't matter if they're already a plus 15 character. So Wukong right now, he's 9, friendship 9. Once he hits friendship 10, since he's plus 15, I'll get 3 Mologoras back. But Illanav, since she's only plus 3, I will end up getting 3 hearts to upgrade her skills. So the biggest thing with this is put 1 speed farming character. Again, like I said, the Free Spirits area is great for this. Arbiter Village is great. Any AoE attacking character. Ideally, you want a Moonlight character for this because elemental disadvantage, you don't have to worry about it. But this would be your go-to farm, and you just farm through and friendship 10 your characters. Now, whenever you're farming that, you're going to be getting the drops. You're going to be getting both drops for your charms, and you're going to be getting your dust drops. On top of that, you're also going to be getting AP and catalyst drops. So with farming this same stage, if you go into AP exchange, you're going to have your AP. Okay, during buff events, you get extra AP. With the extra AP, you'll buy your catalyst. You need a ton of AP. Okay, this is why I'm talking about this first. Yes, there is another thing you can farm for charms, but it's not as good as this for newer players. Okay, so if you're a player who's only been playing for a few, like a month, 2 months, this unrecorded history will still be 80% of your farming. Okay, so this will give you that. On top of that, it also gives you stigma. So if you're ever low on gold, the whole reason that in-game players farm this pretty much, because like my main account has like 500 of all left side charms plus 1 billion dust, is going to be the stigma. The stigma, you come in and trade it in for penguins. Okay, so with these penguins, you trade in for penguins, or if you would need to 6-star characters, you trade it in for this in the spirit wells and get epic spirit blooms. Okay, but once you trade in for the penguins, you go to your enhancement ingredients, and then you can sell the penguins here for gold. Okay, and that will help you get your gold back up, and it is very fast. You can farm a bajillion gold over one of these buff event weekends. One of the things with buff event weekends is going to be it gives you extra of the experience. So every extra experience you get, as long as all your characters are level 60, you get EXP overflow. So the more EXP boost you get EXP overflow, which equates to more stigma gain. Okay, you want as much EXP upgrade as possible. One of the things, if you want to do a huge unrecorded history farm for, say, this event, there's a current event that's going to be lasting 7 days. Usually buff events are about every other weekend. It used to be only the last weekend. I know we just came off the Dash Pass that had it every single day, but you have to start watching for these buff events. They're always in my Discord when they're going to be happening, or on Stove. You just, every Wednesday morning, you go to Stove and see what new things are coming. But if you are going to do a big unrecorded history farm, you want to come in and you can buy these boosters. So if you bought a 3-day booster for 300 Skystones and all you farmed is unrecorded history nonstop, you would get a ton more value out of it. So this 300 Skystones would be super worth it, but do not buy these if you're only going to casually farm. Like you're going to do 10 runs of it, do not buy this. You buy this if you're going to be farming like 10 hours a day, and you just get the maximum amount of extra bonus that you can from it. So these are really good to buy, especially if you're a new player and going to be slotting off a time and stamina sink a couple of days for that. Okay. So that is the first step. I know you guys might be low on energy. They do sell burning passion packs if you're a spender. If you're not a spender, you just have to be smart about the energy you spend. I use Skystones to farm all the time. The only two places I use Skystones is refreshing Garo for bookmarks, and then to buy extra stamina if I want to farm. And those are the only two uses I have for this. The only other thing is occasionally I'll buy the Epic Pass, and if it has a skin I like, I might buy that. But otherwise, that's the only place my Skystone goes. They never go straight into summoning. It's always refreshing to get the Mystic Metals. Okay, so that is 80% of your farming is going to be that. First thing, check, see if you have charms. If you don't have charms, go farm that. And if you have any characters you need to awaken and need catalyst for, you need gold, you need any of that I covered, farm unrecorded history. Now, if you're a later game player, say you've been playing for about 6 months and you don't need that many catalysts right now, or you only need charms, one thing you can do, this is a 900 Skystone cost investment, you can go in and go down and buy Eulogy for a Saint. So there's a video on this. It gives about 70% more charms, I believe, but it doesn't give AP and it only gives certain catalysts. And there's a couple different stages you can farm that give certain catalysts. I think they're all for skill upgrades. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but there's mostly skill upgrades. But this is really fast to farm, and you get about 70% more charms. And it's going to be it's on part 3, stage 3-8 through 3-11, or 3-7 through 11. One of those stages, Tristan Wolf has a video on it. If you want me to link in the description, I can. But this, you will buy it. So to buy this, it costs 900 Skystones, though. I'm going to go ahead and buy it on this account. And then once it's open, oops. All right, well, once you actually buy it, and you go in, you get Basque for free. That's cool. But you'll go to adventure. You'll play through the adventure. Just never finish the story. Okay, if you're going to farm from this route, never finish the story. But you are going to go out. I don't know if it'll let me show it. It will. So, wait. Did they change this? Wait, what's happening? Okay, well, it's once you get past this, it's gonna be stage 3-7, 3-8. It won't let me go to it, which is weird. I don't understand why it won't let me go to it, but it's in this, okay? And then it will be, once you get to stage 3, it's 3-7, 8, 9, 10, I think. It's in those stages, it's going to be the 5 battle stages. Okay, somebody let me know. I don't know why I can't show this. This is weird. But that is where it currently is. That is the Eulogy for Saint farming, and this will give you more charms. Now, for the people that are farming unrecorded history, whenever you're farming stage 30, if you go into the Alchemist Steeple, you can trade in Catalyst. Okay? So you are going to be having 1 billion of the, like this. I have 174 of these and 93 of these. What you do with these overflow is you go in and trade them in for whatever catalyst you need. So let's just say we need these. You go in and you just slam them in here. It costs 13 for 1 epic. Okay, this is a way to spend your overflow catalyst that you farm from that stage. So the whole idea of farming a stage dependent on which catalyst you need, I wouldn't worry about that. And I just do stage 30. It just makes the game easier. And trading in, it's not bad. If you farm enough, you will never notice that you're lacking on certain catalysts. So you don't have to worry about that. Between the AP exchange and trading in here, you just farm the one stage. Pick the stage. Stage 30 is what I farm. If you farm higher in stage 30, it just takes longer. It gives a tiny bit more and has a chance of epic catalyst drop, but catalysts are so easy. I would just do stage 30 just for the speed of, the more you are able to farm, the more you can get out of what you're farming and like a buff event. So if you have a ton of stamina, you just go and spam it. Now, that part's done. Let's say you have a good stack of charms. The next thing is going to be farming hunts or rift. Okay, hunts are my thing. I want everybody to be doing if you're a newer player, because 90% of the characters in this game are built on speed set. If you go through and look at the character list, like I scrolled down my main account the other day, it's over 90% or more will be built on speed set. And those 10% that aren't built on speed set, like 5% of them could be built on speed set and still work. So Wyvern just allows you to stabilize your account and get a bunch of core characters geared up. And you can chase speed to build your opening characters. You can chase just high gear score things. And it's just the number one best thing. And you have crit set, which allows you to get the 100 crit on your damage dealers easier. So always go in and start with Wyvern. It's just going to be the best. You're going to get the most progression, and your account's going to look better in a short period of time doing Wyvern. Now, if you have the charms, you go ahead and start farming Wyvern if you still need to gear up your core roster. Now, if you want to farm something else, that's fine if you have a specific thing in mind. The only other hunt I would suggest farming, though, is going to be Banshee. Other than Banshee, I would not farm any other hunt except for... Or I would just not farm any other hunt. I would get the gear from Rift. Okay, so coming in here, say there's a character that we want to build that needs, say, Landy needs counter set. Okay, so we would want to farm Banshee. Or a character wants lifesteal set. We'd want to farm Banshee. Okay, those are the most common two things. Now, having the extra resist set drops to build up certain characters is good, but that is the main reason to farm Banshee is for the lifesteal. And, I mean, destruction set's good too. It's just really hard to get a good destruction build character when you could just build speed. Any character that could be built on destruction can be built on speed. So destruction is more of an in-game min-maxing style of gear, in my opinion. It's better to go for speed set because then you have more opportunities for each of those pieces of gear to be used if they roll not perfect. Whereas with a destruction set character, it needs to roll high, and it just doesn't have as many uses, is what I'm trying to say. So with speed set, if it has speed on it, it goes all into speed, but has weird other stats, that's a usable piece. If there's a destruction piece that goes into all speed, still usable, but it's harder to use it. Okay, that's just, speed will always be easier to build your characters on. Okay, now Rift. This is one thing everybody's been talking about. Rift. Nobody really understands Rift. So with Rift, once you go in and start farming Rift, this is a content, if any of you are new players now, I would highly push you to just wait for the next Rift cycle. Okay, I know this is super appealing and you want to get into it, but Rift is a cycled content. It goes out every so many months and a new Rift starts. So all of the resources and characters you build for this, you are on a timer as to how much you could farm this. Okay, yes, wouldn't it be nice to get the certain sets? So the way Rift works is you pick 4 sets. So say you don't want to build a Katie Steam. Now you can farm Penetration set here. You can farm Torrent set. You don't want to farm Azumanic, so you put some Immunity set here. Now say you need some Rage gear. You want to try to get some Rage characters set up for PvE. If you're a new player, you have plenty of Rage gear. If you're an old player, maybe you didn't get all the free Rage gear that we got. So Rage set could be good to get a character or two built up. Maybe you need counter set. This allows you to go and pick whatever you want. My suggestions for new players would be something, I like Immunity, Pen is nice, and then counter. This would cover a lot of what you need. Going for injury or any of these other ones aren't great, but what you do with this is you go look at what characters you want to build and then try to find what the best build on them is. So say it's I don't know, Sylvan Sage Vivian. Maybe you want lifesteal for her. So put lifesteal in your Rift. Pen set. Maybe there's some characters you have on crit set right now you'd like to upgrade to pen set. That's a very in-game thing because you need higher gear. So pen set would be there. And maybe you want immunity now that Mort's in the meta and other Silverblade Aramentha. Having immunity on your characters is very nice. So maybe you want to get some immunity and switch some of your character builds back over to immunity or to immunity so you have counter picks into those characters. That it's just whatever you need from that point. But the problem with Rift, again, is for Rift to be efficient, as you farm Rift, your controller level increases, which increases the damage that you do. Okay, and it increases because you get all these extra things, and it gives you a damage boost increase depending on your level. And as you see right here, it has these two things. Oh wait, my face cam's covering it. But you have your Rift level, okay? When you start, your Rift is level 1, and you want to upgrade that all the way to 20. I don't know what it goes up to, 24, because this is 21. Allows you to get the last one. So it's a huge stamina sink to get there. And the idea is you want to beat Rift. You can attack it multiple times to defeat the boss, but you want to beat it in as few runs as possible. So to get to a point where you are beating Rift at an efficient rate, it's a huge stamina sink, and it's going to cycle out. So if you are putting a bunch of resources into Rift to get your Rift team going, now, if you've already done it, that's fine. That means you're going to have another month at least of Rift farming. But if you were to start now and try to get into Rift, I do not suggest it because you'll put all the resources in, only get a month of rewards out of it, and then you are going to end up having to do it all over again with the new Rift cycle. Versus if you just farm Wyvern now and stock up on just speed gear and all the Wyvern sets, stabilize your account, and then once the next Rift cycle starts, then you slam it immediately, and then you get a full Rift cycle of benefit from it. You put your stamina in, then you're going to get full Rift cycle of benefit. one of the biggest struggles with Rift is you don't get reforged materials. Okay, you get very, very few, and you are always going to have more gear that you roll than reforged materials to reforge it. So just keep that in mind. You will be struggling to reforge all of the gear that you get from this. Hunts drop way more reforged materials. And then the second thing is Rift it barely drops charms. This is a lie. It says it drops charms. Very rarely do you get charms, but Rift, the gear is great. Every time I farm Rift, I get banger pieces, but it's not worth getting those pieces, not being able to reforge anything. And also, as a newer player getting their account stabilized, when you're farming Rift, you are not getting any of the other hunt drops, which one of the biggest things is going to be the reforged materials. Those are super important to get your core roster built up for PvP in any capacity, whether it's RTA, Guild Wars. But you're not getting any of this other things here because you can get Mystic Medals, you can get bookmarks, you get a stamina return between Skystones and stamina, and you get Powder of Knowledge. So this allows you to buy artifacts. This allows you to summon Moonlight 5 characters. And the Mystic Medal drop rate, if you farm hunts only for an entire month, is a lot. It's a lot of summons. Okay, missing out on this, you're going to get less Moonlight characters. So I, again, highly suggest only doing Rift if you've already built it up, or just wait for next Rift cycle and I'll cover it and we'll get teams set up right away and you guys can start farming Rift. But the more you farm of Wyvern or Banshee now, preferably Wyvern in my opinion, the better your account's going to be set up. And then once you get into Rift, you're going to be tackling those off characters that like Blood Moon Haste on counter set, your whatever random other character you have that you want the special gear for can probably just work on speed set. Landy, I wouldn't do speed set on unless you're picking her into Mort. But let's go through characters real quick, see if there's any examples of something. But like this is speed set, Mort speed set. You can do a bunch of different sets for that. But Solitaria speed set, Infinite Horizon and Katie speed, it's all speed set. Commander Pavel, you can do destruction. Lencia probably would just do speed set on her. Shu, counter set or speed set. Lily a speed set. Lua speed set. Architect Leica would be speed set. Almost everything is speed set. Yulha would be speed set. Zahak speed set. Judge Kisei speed set. All of these characters can be built on speed set. Every single thing on my account, I could just farm Wyvern and be good to go. I don't see a single character I'd want to farm another set for. And that's just how Epic 7 is. Galilius would want speed set. Fire Ravi, I could go for counter set pen. So say I want to build a Fire Ravi, which now that the new Flan is out, I wouldn't build Fire Ravi. But, well, I'd have her built, but it'd just be an option. So maybe you guys have those characters, but maybe for right now, try to put them on speed set if they're not a character that requires another build. So like Sylvan Sage Vivian, I personally use her on speed set on my main account. I don't have her on lifesteal. So there are characters that are, the common build is lifesteal, but I use speed set and she works great. So just keep that in mind whenever you're trying to decide what to like, do I need to get into Rift or what should I farm? Almost everything is just speed set on Wyvern and it will give you the best results. Okay, any character that's built above 220 speeds, probably speed set below 220. If you're trying to min-max destruction set would be better. And that kind of goes off their base speed as well. So there's a lot to learn with Epic 7. It's too much for me to get into in this video. But those are the two main things you should farm. 80% going to be going into your unrecorded history. And once you have the charm count, go into Hunt or Rift if you are Rift setup. Okay, now from there, obviously, if you need runes, say you're doing a specialty change or you just need some runes to boost up your characters, farm runes. And occasionally the buff days are staggered to where the first day is rune buff, the second day of the hunt or the second day of the buff event's gonna be hunt, the third day is gonna be AP buff, and the last day is all buffs. So you have to kind of watch that because if there's a say you need a bunch of runes, I would never farm runes outside of buff event. It is terrible. Okay, never farm runes outside buff event unless you are desperate. Otherwise, do all your rune farming during a buff event. So this is maybe one of the higher priority things. Get a list of all the runes you need, and then when there's a buff event, slam runes. And then from there, that's really all there is for farming. I mean, everything else you need to be doing every day anyway, but I don't know another thing I would cover with farming. Obviously, do your guild wars every day. That's not any of the farming thing. So that is my opinion on how to decide what you're farming. You don't have charms, farm unrecorded history. If you need gold, you need stigma, you need 6 stars, you need catalyst, farm unrecorded history. From there, if you need gear and you have the charms, farm hunt. That is going to wrap up this video. Thank you for watching. If you have anything you'd like to add, comment it down below. If you have any other questions or like a video like this you want me to cover and talk about more in depth, let me know. and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.